What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series, and welcome to another episode of Quick Breakdowns. This is where a Discord member reaches out to me, gives me a bunch of pictures, and says, "Can you please help me? Try to increase my times or whatever the case may be." And I take their stuff and I try to do it in one video. And so it's specifically for this person, but at the same time, guys, if you are a new selector, these are very helpful tips for you. Every one of my videos have helpful tips to help you guys out. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it. Discord link below. Thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate the interaction on my channel. It helps the algorithm and it helps me get pushed up to #1. I'm looking for that #1 spot. And guys, if you want to help donate to Venmo and help this channel out, I really appreciate it. All right, guys. So the first pick we're going to look at is this one right here. Now, this entire side of this palette is soda. So let me look at the last picture of this side. I want to make sure so what I would have done is, guys, I would have took all of this, all right, my second level of cans right here, I would have leveled out right here. I would, whatever these are right here, olives or whatever they are, I would not have put these here. I would have made sure that this was level, whether it took these cans pointing in and separating these cans. All this grapefruit would have came over here. It would have filled up my middle and right here. So these cans would have been over here probably. I would have leveled out second layer of cans. All these grape sodas, over here. I probably would have, since you got what, 3, 4, I would have probably 5 blocked these. Probably 4 across, 1 in the middle, or however I had to do it. And I would have kept alternating that the whole side, because the whole side of your palette is pretty much pop, these soda cans. So I would have done that. I would have utilized the middle of this palette for these cans as well. Then all these heavy cans that are in the middle, I would have formed a corner out of them, because I want my bigger, stronger cases on the corner. Even though this is building a solid corner, it's just the way I build, guys. I don't like slippery cases in the corner of my palettes. Either that, or I would have played around with these boxes and tried to level out so I can just tie in the whole layer. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't like column stacking weight. All weight, and this is all weight, and this is column stacked. Even though you tied, it's definitely helping that you tied in this column right here. These ones you did not tie in, but it does help that you tied in this column, but it's still heavy and it still can cause problems. This one is basically column stacked the whole way up. I'm not a fan of column stacking weight. So I would definitely have brought the grapefruit soda into the middle of the palette to try to tie that corner into the middle. And as you can see, guys, that soda is all over the side. So why did I show this? I like how you kept your pickles together. Obviously, we're a bulk warehouse. You do it in your other pictures that I'm going to show, but I would always keep, and this is for any selector, if you have an open box like this, on one side's open, face that open in all the time. This closed part of the box, we want facing out. We want the open part facing in. Believe it or not, I believe that it gives you more stability when you have that solid part facing out. I would not face those out. Especially depending on what the product is that you're putting on top of it. So let's get to the back part of this. As you can see right here, we got the wall. Now you tied this part in. See, we got what? Yeah, you tied this in nicely. So I would have just did this the whole way down that side of the palette with the grapefruit that you have up here, the pink grapefruit. I like your back corner, not too much you could do with this, these bigger cases. It's the open boxes. Again, you have a lot of open boxes that you're dealing with. I like the colas in the middle. I like the Gatorades and everything pointing in. It's not a bad palette. Let's take a look at your other side. I just think if you would have put all the pop on one side, all these grapefruit sodas, which is a lot, but you could have filled the whole one side of your palette in. See, I don't know how this came to, or if you were going to leave it like this, I would have at least tied all this in. I would have somehow crossed these grapefruit sodas, because it's just going to give your palette more stability. So if you're doing this like you did right here, you tied this in. So I would have just took the opportunity to turn some of these long ways right in the middle and start tying this in, and just somehow tie all this in together instead of having a column and a column. But I get it. It's all weight. I don't know if you had a second palette to this, if the other palette that we're going to look at is a second palette to this, and you could have built it differently with 2 palettes. I'm not 100% sure. So right here, like I said, you did it with this side. All these open boxes are facing in, even these ones. I like how you do that. Keep the open side facing in, so it's just going to give you little problems. I like how you did it here as well. Got the soda stacked in the middle. I like that as well. Yeah, you're not doing bad. You did say that. You feel like you're building a lot better, and I think you are too. I think you're doing a really nice job. So let's look at your next picture. So this one here, if you ever watch my videos, cat litters, these sodas, LaCroix, I just cannot stand stacking on them because when you drive, cases like to slide on this type of surface. So where my blue shaded boxes is, I would have stacked 9 block. I would have did 3, 3, and then 3 back the opposite way. I would have 9 blocked, put a 9 blocker, 3, 3, 3, right up in the corner, switching the block every row. That way it's nice and tied in. And that way you have cans to stack on instead of these slippery cases to stack on. So I hope that makes sense. And now we're going to look at the back here pallets. I could talk about these cases right here. So the next one here, this blue shaded area back here, guys, remember, I am not a touch once mentality type of person. If I had this case down and I started getting a bunch of jars, anytime I get jars, I like to keep them together. When I say keep them together, if they're a sturdy case like this, I like to form a corner. So I would have either took this area right here to form a corner out, 2 facing in with 1 in the middle possibly, or even 3 right across the back of this pallet to fill in this hole in the middle. So 3 of these cases would have been bam, 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 or we might even been able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if they would have fit that way, but you might have been able to form a corner out of the entire 4 jars here. Lighter cases, I would call them, stack them like this in the middle, not cases of weight. And we also could have utilized it back here. Remember, we took our ginger ale, we stacked it at 9 block, we stacked 3, 3, and 3 right up the front of the jack. This could have formed a back corner. You got something this solid that could form a corner, I'm using it as a corner. I'm not wasting these cases in the middle. I'm going to wait for something lighter, or even stack your pop in the middle as well. So let's take a look at your next picture. Guys, this one right here is the last picture I want to look at. Like I said, quick breakdowns. So there's a lot going on here. First, I want to point to 2. We got liquid, we got oil on their sides. I don't put 0 oils on their sides. Down here, I'm pointing cases here. Right at this point right here, you went wrong. I got the arrows because you're pointing cases this way in this part of the pallet. This is my biggest pet peeve. Without a doubt, I feel every single person that does that proves my point that you build a crappier pallet when you stack cases like this in this part of the pallet, because you are forcing yourself to keep towering, because you can never get the middle to level up with this part of your pallet. So you're just doing this the whole way up. And it's just, that's what it looks like. It's a big tower, you go around a corner, boom. That's why there's so much wrap around here, because you didn't want to drop it, in my opinion. But it all started right here on this layer right here. These should have been pointing in. And they honestly, anytime I get a big, long, flat case, I think corner. So these, I don't know if this is 1 case or 2 cases, but it would have been on my back corner pointing in, back corner pointing in. The more cases in this middle section that you have pointing in towards the middle of the pallet, the more room you're going to have. So this pallet would have been a heck of a lot more sturdier if we did not do this with the pallet. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about with this. If you followed me for any length of time, you know this is my biggest pet peeve, and no matter who does it, I will prove you wrong every time. And you can see the tower right there. You can never tie in when you do this. It's just bam, playing catch up the whole way up, and I'm sure the middle's doing this too, and you're always either lower or higher in the middle. Point those cases in. Keep big flat cases on the corners. I would even probably have turned these cases in. These cases in, you would have had so much more room. You would have been able to take these 2 liters and also have them facing in as well, and have 1 in the middle probably as well. But yeah, these towers of just nothing but weight is definitely going to give you a problem. Oil on its side is going to give you a problem. This is going to give you the biggest problem. Face cases in. All right, guys, quick breakdowns. I try to be real quick about these, obviously, because of the title. And I'll see you guys next time. If you have any questions, comment section below. If you want me to do a quick breakdowns video on you, send me a bunch of your pictures and I will do the same. Have a good one, guys.